Good evening. Welcome to Grandma's Attic Music Review. I'm so happy to be with you tonight. I'm so happy to be able to bring to you music from near and far, and I think it's some of the best music anywhere. I certainly think that Connecticut has some of the most talented musicians in the world. And tonight I'm bringing back to you probably one of the best guitar players I know, but certainly one of the most enjoyable personalities I know. He's a great musician and he's talented, and he came to us when he put out this last CD, and he's going to talk about his new CD. But right now, why don't you just sit back, enjoy, and welcome into your living room, Tom the Suit Forst.
Thanks, Don. When you said enjoyable personality, I was hoping my wife was going to watch this because she does not agree. In any case, I'm going to start off with a song called Going Home from, it's actually the title track on my last album. So. Some destination, unmarked trails and winding road, when I heard a distant strumming, or was that my imagination? Then I saw a man in a black robe. He was a man of the mountains, straggly hair and dirty beard, knowing look in his one eye. He said, "Boy, you sure look lost. Why not sit a spell with me?" Then he told me all about my life. He said, "You're going home someday. You're going back where you come from. You're going home, same way. You're going back where you come from." You see, the sold all that I own, and I moved into these hills. Now I live from day to day. You can lose your very soul, gathering up your gold, gonna end up in the same way. He said, "You're going home someday. You're going back where you come from. You're going home, same way. You're going back where you come from." Thank you very much. That was actually written by a friend of mine, my very best friend, Gary Yule, who actually passed away this year.
Oh my goodness.
And
I'm sorry to hear that.
it's interesting that he wrote this song called Going Home, so always means a lot to me when I play it.
Toasted brothers, I'd rather be content being truthful to each other and where minds ahead, be related to each other. How fine love could be, existing on all those groovy chicks I see. I'm a man, yes I am, and I can't help but love you so. I'm a man. Yes, I am, and I can't help but love you so. My pad is kind of messy. I got whiskers on my chin. I don't dig country music, and I always play it wet. I got no time for loving. My loving's all used up. Just sit around creating for another kind of love. I'm a man. Yes, I am, and I can't help but love you so. I'm a man. Yes, I am, and I can't help but love you so. I'm a man. Oh, yes, I am, and I can't help but love you so. Toasted brothers, I'd rather be content being truthful to each other and where minds ahead, be related to each other. How fine love could be, existing on all those great chicks I see. I'm a man, yes I am, and I can't help but love you so. I'm a man. Yes, I am, but I can't help but love you so. I'm a man. Yes, I am, and I can't help but love you so.
Thank you. This one is from the album. All guitar players are pushed when they play live to play fast. The great guitar players play slow, and they know how to do it. So this song's about playing slow.
I've seen some guitar sales in Memphis, Tennessee. They're blazing fast, really knock me off my feet. I've seen some 6-inch slayers in Memphis, Tennessee. Playing side with a bottle fast as big as I've ever seen. They may play fast, blowing down the door, going up and down that neck to the crowds out the mall. Playing fast ain't everything. and down the door, going up and down that neck till the crowd crowds out for more. Blazing fast ain't everything. Can't play slow, choose like the king. Hey. I've seen the king play the guitar neck like they were making love. He'd go up and down the body like they were heading up. Then he'd make a scream, he would bend the strings. Could nobody play that so-and-so like the king? Playing fast ain't everything. If you can't play slow, choose like a king. Hey, king, 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 king. Yeah, playing slow like the king. Thank you very much. I'm going to change guitars for a second. By the way, this guitar is kind of a knockoff of a 1930 Depression era guitar. And this one's a famous knockoff, actually, of a New Yorker, which is a 1940s guitar. So, sorry about that.
Woo!
This is a really old song.
They called it Stormy Monday. Tuesday is just as bad. They called it Stormy Monday, baby. But Tuesday is just as bad. Wednesday is worse. Thursday is also sad. Eagle flies on Friday. Saturday I go out and I pray. Eagle flies on Friday. Saturday I go out and I play. Sunday I go to church. I'll get down on my knees and I pray. Lord have mercy. Lord have mercy on me. Lord have mercy. Lord have mercy on me. If you find my baby, won't you bring on home me? Call it Stormy Monday, baby. Ooh, Tuesday's just as bad. call it stormy Monday. Tuesday is just as bad. Wednesday's worse. Thursday is so sad. Eagle flies on Friday. Saturday I go out and I play. Eagle flies on Friday. Saturday I go out and I play. Sunday I go to church. And I get down on my knees and I pray. Oh, Lord. Lord, have mercy. Lord, have mercy. Lord, have mercy. Lord, have mercy.
Thank you. I've been trying to find a different way to do that song. Another old song.
I should have quit you, baby, baby, long time ago. I should have quit you, baby, baby, long time ago. I wouldn't be now, baby, down on this killing floor. I should have gone on, when my friend said, come on, baby, come to Mexico. I should have gone on, when my friend said, come to Mexico, baby. I wouldn't be now, baby, down on this killing floor. I wouldn't be now, mama, down on this killing floor. I should listen, baby, baby, my second mind. I should listen, baby, baby, my second mind. I wouldn't be now, mama, down on this killing floor.
Yeah.
Woo.
All right, this is kind of on the sexier side, I guess you could call it. I know. This is all I got, so I'm going to go with this. This is a song I wrote about 4 in the morning one night. I came home after a gig and couldn't sleep, of course. You're always all dressed up, no place to go after a show. So this one's called Consolation Man.
at night, you're all alone. You put on your robe and you pick up the phone. You burn, baby, burn. But your man's not home. So I come running fast as I can. I'm your consolation man. Not the first, won't be the last. Don't talk about our future, don't ask about your past. Burn, baby, burn. From your bedroom eyes. I come running fast as I can. I'm your consolation man. I come running, know that I am. I'm your consolation man. I come running fast as I can. I'm your consolation man. I come running, know that I am. I'm your consolation man. Sometimes I worry, not your first choice. Then the phone rings and I hear your voice. We burn, baby, burn. Down that telephone line. I come running fast as I can. I'm your consolation man. I come running, know that I am. I'm your consolation man. I'm your consolation man. I'm your consolation man. I come running fast as I can. I'm your consolation man. I come running, know that I am. I'm your consolation man. Well, thank you very much. Another old song. My new album is going to be a lot of dobro and electric guitar, but all from the 40s. But it's going to be a rock blues deal, so it's going to be something like this. 1 for money, 2 for the show, 3 to get ready to go, baby, go, but don't you Step on my blue suede shoes. You can do anything but lay off of my blue suede shoes. You can knock me down, step on my face, say my name all over the place. Do anything that you wanna do. Baby, lay off my shoes. Hey, don't you step on my blue suede shoes. You can do anything but lay off of my blue suede shoes. 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 You can do anything out of my blue suede shoes. You can do anything but lay off of my blue suede shoes. Going to Kansas City, here I come. I'm going to Kansas City, here I come. They got some pretty little women and I'm gonna get me one. I might take a train, I might take a plane. If I have to get there, I'll get there just the same. Going to Kansas City, here I come. They got some crazy little women and I'm gonna get me one. Thank you very much. I'm going to do one more before I come over there. This is on, not my last album, but the album before this, and we have to keep this a secret because it's about a guy who's very bored with his woman because she's singing the same old song, if you know what I mean. So, about boredom in the bedroom, so nobody tell my wife. Crazy. You say taking way too long, but hey baby, I think that you're lazy. Every time I come it seems that you're gone. Can't keep on keeping on, singing that same old song. You say in that same old position. You say I can't change your mind. You say it's your women's intuition. You think that you see, but I know that you're blind. Can't keep on keeping on, singing that same old song. Just come with me, baby. Don't try to change me. Let me be what I am. Come with me, baby. Don't try to arrange me. Let me be a man. Can't keep on keeping on, singing
you.
Tom. Come on over and sit with me. While Tom's getting his stuff together and coming over and getting mic'd up, why don't I just remind you that, yes, we are in the throes of winter, and it's cold out, and we have neighbors that may not be able to shovel their own snow, or maybe they don't have heat. Check on your neighbors, especially if they're elderly or have children. Please, please, please get to know your neighborhood, get to know your community. It's so important that we take care of each other in this day and age. So please do that for me. Go out and check on your neighbors and make sure they have food in their fridge and heat coming out of their, whatever they have heat coming out of, because we need to do that today. It's cold outside and our neighbors need us. Hi, Tom.
How are you?
I'm going to turn my chair a little bit. It's so good to have you back.
Yeah, nice to be back.
It's neat. You are some busy.
I am.
One busy fella.
I'm playing all the time
I like that.
and making so much money that I'm literally just throwing out the window on my way
You're
out.
just like the rich man blues you sing.
Yeah, it is. It's the life of the blues. It is. It is just that. But I'm playing constantly.
That's
Constantly
great.
Traveling.
That's great, though.
It is. It is.
And now, do you think that has anything to do with this album? Can I get a shot of this? I caught my cameraman off guard. This is Tom's newest album, and it's awesome, I have to say. So that's your newest album. Where can people find that right away? We'll get that out of the way.
You can go on tomthesuitforst.com. It's
Easy.
right there. You can buy it there. Of course, you can go on iTunes. You can go on Amazon. Mm-hmm. Yeah, there's
All
a guy on
the
the
regular
street selling
places.
it out of his, trunk.
That's what I heard, that there
Yeah.
was a guy selling them and selling them out of his trunk. Now, you are not a one guitar trick man. You like to play a bunch of different guitars. What makes you want to do that, Tom?
Well, I'm not a golfer, but if I think I was, I would use all the golf clubs. And that's the way the guitars are. They all have their own personalities.
Right?
And touching the guitars and the sound that you hear, you play differently depending on the sound that's coming out of the amplifier. That's why some guitar players will say if they don't like the sound of the guitar, they can hardly play. So I have a bunch of guitars. As a matter of fact, I lined them all up one day, and my wife was very surprised that I had that many guitars.
Happy surprised or not
Yeah.
so happy surprised?
Oh, she was thrilled. Every wife wants a guy to have, 40 guitars.
You recently bought a new toy,
Yes.
and that's going to be apparent and able to be heard in a new project you have coming up.
Right.
Tell us a little bit about that.
Well, Paul Nelson, as you know,
Yep.
was the producer of my last album. Paul is a multi-Grammy winner now.
Yep.
And he used to play guitar, and he produced the last Johnny Winter album before
Yep.
Johnny died, and a few before that. So Paul and I have been talking about another album, and we're going to
Nice.
go differently on this album. The last album, if I had to compare it to somebody, I would say a Joe Bonamassa kind of album.
Okay.
Heavy electric guitar.
Yep. Very much so.
Yeah, a lot of rock and blues. This new album.
More rockin' than blues.
Right.
Definitely more rockin' than blues.
Yes, and you ask any blues person, they'll tell you that.
Well,
but
I'm
that's
just
the
saying.
same they would say with a Joe Bonamassa. This new album's going to feature a lot of these type of guitars. Electric, though, this is not an acoustic album. I don't want people to think, oh, this is going to be a layback album. It's not, but it's going to be gritty. I'm going to use 1940 amps, real 1940
Yep.
amps. I'm going to use these old guitars. And I have this one guitar that is called a harp guitar. And it is a regular acoustic guitar. It's electric. Acoustic guitar has a second neck, and the second neck has all bass strings on it.
Okay.
So you play with your fingers, and you hit the bass strings as you're playing along. It's very complicated, to be honest.
But you're learning that.
I'm learning it, and I won't use it on the album until I'm, at least in every song it's perfect. But it is quite a sound, and I'm very excited about it. So
I'm excited
that will
for
be
it.
my new album.
And you'll come back with that.
I'm definitely going to come
Okay,
back.
well,
Yeah.
good.
Yeah.
Because let's go back a little bit in your history and talk about, You didn't always go on the road and play guitar as your full-time occupation, did you?
No, I didn't.
What did you do before this?
I was an executive in a corporation. I was a vice president of a large television advertising company.
What made you leave that?
Well,
Some people would say that that's the life.
yeah, my wife said that. As a matter of fact, the story goes, and it is true, my wife was sitting down at a chair in her house, and she pays the bills. So she was writing a check, and she looked up at me, and she said, you know, I'm paying the last 2 tuition bills of our last 2 kids' college.
Nice.
And
That must have felt great.
we just stared at each other, and it was a lot of money. So I said, well, then I'm going to quit. And she just kind of looked up at me and she said, okay, you know, that was always our plan. And so I gave them 6 months notice. You don't just walk out of a
No.
corporate job.
No, you don't.
You know, you can't do that. You have contracts and things. But I stayed for another 6 months, and 9 years ago, I'm almost on my 10th year anniversary. And from that point on, about a week after I quit, I was full time. I
music.
did all my gigs in New York. I was in a hip hop band, a couple of hip hop bands.
Nice.
Yeah. I did all my gigs in New York City to begin with because I wanted to really cut my teeth on hard, you know. I didn't even know what I was doing half the time. I'd bring equipment and they would say there was a backline. They wouldn't even know what they meant. I'd bring all my equipment and I'd find all the equipment was already there.
Right.
So, yeah.
So you didn't play music while you were in the corporate world?
I did. I'd be in a board meeting, you know, in Atlanta, and I'd be looking at my clock thinking, oh, I got to get back. I got to get to Joe's Bar, you know, in Hebron, Connecticut. Yeah, I always played. I somehow found time to do it because I took 10 years off.
Okay.
I didn't play at all. Didn't touch a guitar, didn't look at it. But for the last couple of years, I knew I had to keep my chops up. So I got into a blues band, and I did a lot of weekend gigs. Yeah.
So you were with a couple of guys, and you guys called yourself Suit, Tie, and Thirsty for
Right.
a while. How did you get together with those guys, and what's going on with you and them now?
Well, actually, this is what happened when I was playing in the city all the time. I was always playing in the city, and I was in a hip hop band. It was actually a spoken soul band out of Harlem.
Yep.
And the bass player, Tyree Pope, who's doing a lot right now.
Yeah, he is.
Yeah, he's doing a lot of his own stuff. He's doing solo stuff. He and I talked about it. I said, you know, your name is Ty. They call me the Suit. How can we not be in a band together? We call it Suit and Tie. So that made sense.
Yeah, it
But
did.
then we found this drummer out of New York City. His name is Big Thirsty. I have no idea why. But we had to add his name, so it became Suit, Tie, and Thirsty. And I still play with Thirsty. I'm in the Jason Gisser band, which
Yep.
plays a lot
Yep.
in New York and Connecticut. And Big Thirsty is still the drummer.
He's wonderful.
Yeah,
They're
he's
both
great.
wonderful.
Yeah, they're both great musicians. Yeah.
Ty is doing some gospel right
Yeah.
now, isn't he?
He's doing a lot. He actually has a pretty good voice.
Yeah.
We
does.
were doing some stuff in Manhattan, and the vocalist didn't show up from another band that we're playing with, and he started to sing, and I was quite surprised. He really has a great voice. Yeah, you'll hear a lot from him.
Let's take you back to your childhood now. That's about 30, 40 years ago now.
Yeah, dog years.
Were your were your parents musical?
Yeah. My brother, my mother, and father have passed away, but when they were alive, the three of them were always playing together.
Nice.
And I'm a lot younger. I was an accident, so I'm 11 years younger than my brother. So I was always watching them, figuring out what the hell they were trying to do.
Right.
And then Elvis showed up, and I thought, well, I got to be Elvis.
Right.
So they got. So I started guitar lessons at 8 years old,
Okay.
and in Willimantic, Connecticut.
Wow.
In a place that doesn't even exist anymore, down by the footbridge, you know where the big frog is?
I know where the frogs are.
Yeah, right there. So so that's how I started. They were good musicians.
Yeah.
Yeah,
That's awesome.
yeah.
That's awesome. how do you compare the world of music today to the world of music as you knew it then?
When I was growing up, I had a gig every weekend. From 15, I was in a club. They would let me in. I lied and said I was, 18. In Willimantic,
Yep.
actually, the Rock Garden. I don't know if you would remember. You're too young, but I was always playing, always making money. I'd make $100 a gig in the 60s, 70s.
Yeah, that was money back then, and they paid musicians to come in and play.
And then I went on the road the week after I graduated from college, on a road with a band. I was on the road for years. We played 6 nights a week, every week. Every time we walk in, a club was full. We played Pittsburgh. We did all the Eastern Seaboard. Never thought of an audience because they were always there.
Right,
And we were making full-time incomes.
right.
Now you go back. Now you go fast forward 40 years, making less than I made then, and certainly even less than on the weekend. And getting an audience to a club is a lot harder.
Why do you think that is?
I think in the old days there were 3 channels on TV. There were no video games. There was no social media. People went out because they wanted to hear music. And like it or not, the music in the 60s, late 60s and 70s were groundbreaking.
Of course
Unbelievable
it was. Absolutely,
music.
absolutely.
Yeah. I mean, from the Beatles to the underground stuff.
Yeah,
Just every day. And, you'd listen to one station and you'd hear funk, and you'd hear psychedelic, and you'd hear soul, and you'd hear folk music, and hard rock, all mixed up into one, and blues.
absolutely.
And no one ever said, "Oh, I don't like folk." We liked everything because it was just amazing.
Right.
And now, I think people are looking for new music, and they're not finding it. And that's why when I go out and play, my audience is relatively young.
Right.
And I think it's because they like what used to be. And that's one of the reasons I'm going back to the earlier rock. And when I played that rock and roll, that's not where I'm going to be. I'm going to try to keep it up to date, but I want to bring back some of the licks and the feel.
Right.
of
You
the
have
old
to
music.
keep that stuff in.
Yeah.
Now we look at music today, and in our circle of musicians, we have a couple of musicians that are out there really kicking it up. I'm thinking of Braden and Jake. Those 2 kids are out there, and they're doing it.
Yeah.
What do you think is going to happen with their music?
What? How do I? Okay. First of all, they're very, very good. They've got to make it quick because being young is great. Being very young. As soon as it hits that ceiling where you're in with everyone else, it gets harder and harder. So I think they have a nice start. They really do.
I do too.
Yeah, I'm thinking of joining an all-boy band.
An all-boy band?
Yeah.
That'll be nice.
Yeah. Maybe in an old folks home somewhere where people really don't know their age. I don't know.
Now you've raised some special children, and your son is a full-time musician. How do you feel about your children and music? Do you think that music is the way to go for them?
No. I never wanted my child, my kids. They had to start piano at 8, and they had to take it from 8 to 13. At 13, they could decide to quit. That was always the deal.
Yep.
So they all went to 13, and they all quit except for my son, who wanted to keep playing. But he plays keys, and he's a sound maker. He's a sound designer.
Nice.
So you add that together, and he makes an amazing income. But he's mainly in recording studios. He's not performing
Right.
like the usual guy. There's no money in performing.
Not anymore.
No, not unless you can at least fill 500 seats and sell merchandise.
Right. I agree with you.
Yeah.
That being said, why do you keep doing this?
It's just passion, and that's the only reason. There's no money in it. There could be. I'm working on a tour in Asia, and there could be money in something like that. But yeah, I mean, I always wanted to be back into the creative side. And here I am. Be careful what you wish for.
Yeah, and you're doing that. How's your wife feel about that?
She's wonderful. She as long as
She really puts up with a lot.
Well, yeah. I mean, you have to understand. I was a musician one day. We're in our 20s.
Yep.
We're married, and I say to her, "Hey, I'm going to quit the music business, and I'm gonna become a school teacher." She said, "Well, you don't have any experience." I know. I'm going to go to school, and I became an elementary school teacher
Right.
for 5 years.
Right.
And then I did that, and we were making money, and things were good. And then I said, "I'm going to quit teaching, and I'm going to go into the business world." And she said, "Well, you have no experience in the business world." I said, "I know, but don't worry about it." So I got an MBA. I got in the business world.
Worked your way to the top?
Yeah, and then one day I said, "Well, I'm gonna quit and become a musician." She doesn't really care.
That's called full circle.
I
That's
know,
definitely,
yes.
that's called
Yeah.
full circle.
Yeah, exactly.
Let's switch over and talk a little bit about your songwriting. Where do your songwriting inspirations come from, Tom?
All right. Well, this is gonna sound corny, I guess, but
I
I
expect
truly.
nothing less from you.
Okay, then good. I truly believe that it doesn't come from me at all because I'm getting messages, not to burn things. I'm getting messages when I write. Sometimes I'll wake up and a whole song will be in my head. I've written songs in 2 minutes that just were already written. They were already there. So I believe in a muse.
Yep.
But I also believe that the muse gets upset, and I think this is where people kind of fall down. When you don't work and you're not putting in the effort, the muse goes away.
Yep.
And
I agree.
Then you're trying to work it yourself, and it's not that great. And then when you start putting in consistent effort, I start getting these ideas again. And now I'm in the middle of writing, so I'm writing my new album. I cannot listen to a TV program without catching a line. And I won't say it because I'm writing the song right now, but I heard a line the other day where we had to shut the TV off because I had to go and write. It just happens to me.
So you get a line, or do the lines, like the words, come first, or does the music come first?
It is all of the above. When I have these guitars are standard tuning.
Yep.
So I'm exploring alternate tunings, and I'm using this harp guitar.
Yeah.
That just changes all the sounds. So even my mistakes sometimes are really nice chording, and all of a sudden I get an idea from the sound. But then on the other hand, I'll listen to TV or something, and I'm hard of hearing, so when I hear the TV, a lot of times I misunderstand what they say, and they end up being great lines.
Nice.
And so I'll take a song, and if I'm usually in trouble if I get the hook first, the chorus first, because I'll write a great hook and then I don't have the patience, and my songwriting friend has passed away.
Right.
So I do it all myself now. So sometimes I'll get in trouble then, but it's all about. I'm trying to write songs where I am in life. So these songs that I write, they're not about me. It's not really about me, but it's about people in my experience level, sometimes age group.
Yep.
But sometimes I see my kids, and I'll write a song about what they're going through.
Nice.
Yeah.
You're not a big love songwriter. I haven't heard a lot of love songs out of you.
No, I'm dark.
You see,
Yeah, I know.
You steal my words right out of my mouth. You tend to have a bit of a dark side, but you also are a little bit corny. You carry those traits with you.
True, I'm darkly corny. Huh.
Ah,
You don't get that every day.
no, you don't. So here's a question for you. Who do you think is the greatest songwriter of all time?
Beside me?
Besides yourself, of course.
I'm going to say Elton John and what was the guy? Bernie Taupin was his lyricist.
Yep.
I don't know. Tomorrow I could say somebody else, but they've written some.
They did write some great
landmark
music.
stuff.
Yeah, they did.
Yeah, I would
Candle
say.
in the Wind.
Yeah,
right off the.
exactly. I mean, there's songs like that that are just. I try to do the same thing. I try not to preach when I write. I try to let the listener decide what I mean, rather than take a stand. You know?
Yep.
Yeah.
Well, there definitely were some great songs that came from them. I didn't expect that to be your answer.
Oh.
I expected a much deeper answer from you. But
Well, I'm pretty
that's-
shallow. Just because I'm dark
I tell people
doesn't mean I'm deep.
I tell people I'm shallow all the time.
I'm
So
darkly shallow.
darkly shallow and corny. All
Yeah, and corny.
That's great.
Yeah.
Where do we take your music from here? Where do you think you're going to go from here with your music? Besides this new album, what do you want to see happen with On Fire?
Well, you know, On Fire's been around a year.
Yep.
And it
has.
is an excellent album, if I do say so myself, and mainly because of somebody like Paul.
Yeah, he's
who
he's
just
a great
ripped
producer.
me apart.
Yep.
You know, the whole album. I'm sorry to say that this album is probably, you know, dead for now, until the next album. And if the next album gets to a point where I have a lot of people interested, this album becomes alive again. That's how
Right.
it works. It's like
It
an
is.
artist.
It is how it works.
Yeah, so I think this has run its course. I really think the new album is going to be really interesting. My whole goal is to continually tour, whether it's Asia or Europe or Montana. It's just, you know, it's just a tour constantly.
What made you want to tour in Asia?
Mainly because they are where we were in the 60s and 70s. They still want live music. I am convinced that people in this country say they do, but they don't. They would literally rather hear the recording in a really good system in a club, you know, or a venue.
Yeah.
Sometimes, you know, if it's an old band that they've heard a million times, they've also got to know the song. In Asia, that's not true. And if you're a blues player in Asia,
Right.
it's a much bigger deal than here.
I've heard other people say that, and I know that local bands have gone to Asia and made it really well.
Yeah.
Made out really well.
Yeah.
So as
I'm
always,
thinking North Korea is pretty hot.
yeah, have fun with that.
Yeah, maybe my career will rocket.
I'm not going to.
I don't know why you say I'm corny. I do not
I am
understand.
not going to even get into this conversation.
Wow.
I am not going to get political today.
Okay.
It's my goal in life not to be political.
I understand
for
you
the
can
year.
get a gig, you just can't get out.
You can get there. You're not going to come home.
Can't leave.
Yeah, so there you go. So as always, what happens when I do a show is I run out of time talking, and I have to ask you if you have a song to take us out with.
I suppose I do.
I would love that. I would love that very much. Don't forget to unmic. Don't forget to unmic. Unmic. So coming up down in downtown New London, I hope you all know and will remember that on the 27th of January, I know I'm putting a date on it, is the opening to the Hygienic Art Show, the big yearly to-do that the Hygienic does, and it's just going to be fabulous this year. Get out and enjoy the art. If you don't go out 27th, which is opening night, take the time to look at the schedule. The Rock Fix is happening, and the Photogenic, and all the fashion show, and I believe this is the second year for the skin art thing, and just all the wonderful things that go with the Hygienic Art Show. Check it out. It involves all local artists. It's good stuff, and it's citywide. So check it out and enjoy. Remember to support your community. Until next week, God bless and have a great week. Bye-bye.
Before I start, I just want to thank you, Dot, for putting so many local live musicians in the spotlight. There aren't many people doing that out there on a consistent basis, so we all owe you a debt of gratitude. Thank you. A song like this, or maybe this song, is going to be on my next album. The whole album is about passion, So something like this. Rock me, baby. You gotta rock me all night long. You gotta rock me, baby. You gotta rock me all night long. Gotta rock me, baby. Just like a wagon wheel.